In July 2024, the Brazilian government issued its first apology for the persecution of Japanese immigrants during World War II. However, the country that most needs to apologize has instead justified itself and deceived the world with false propaganda books, novels, and movies. Let us introduce ourselves. We are students of mixed Japanese, American, and European descent. Since childhood, we have noticed the oddities in Japanese education and have studied independently. First, please understand that our goal is not to attack Americans or ordinary people. However, we must counterattack the government and the United Nations. This is against the lying adults and war profiteers. Moreover, it is unbearably vicious. We are convinced that the same people who attacked President Trump are the perpetrators. If you study, you will understand this too. This has not changed for 100 years. We believe the perpetrators are of the same ilk. What is important now is not school lessons, but learning from literature and primary sources. Unless you can time travel 100 years back and bring evidence. Were you taught that Japan did terrible things to Asians? Did you know that in 1872, the Japanese government freed Chinese slaves who were being taken to America in Yokohama? At the time, it was hard for the whites to understand why Japan, with no benefit to itself, tried to help the Chinese. Historical revisionists are now fabricating the history of Hokkaido and Okinawa, incorporating it into games and causing recent controversies. If you read Masanori Mizuma's book, you will understand what Japan has endured since the war. However, people pretending to be Japanese living in Japan have been hiding and harassing the spreading of this book worldwide. We learned about this a few years ago. Don't you think it is strange? If Japan really is the brutal country it is often said to be, why would thousands of people from Tibet, southern Mongolia, and the Uyghur region flee China to Japan? Would they flee to a country they truly fear? In 1919, at the Paris Peace Conference of the League of Nations formed after World War I, Japan proposed that human rights are equal, be included in the charter. The ones who opposed this were America and Britain. We consider these to be barbarians. Author Mizuma Sensei says that it is fair to judge that the starting point leading to the Greater East Asia War was Japan's proposal of human equality at the Paris Peace Conference. We believe this to be true. If it weren't for Japan, many countries might still be colonies today. We are proud of our ancestors. Some people say Japan had many colonies, but please tell us. Japan was the only country that spent a lot of money from its own country to build infrastructure, make it livable, build schools, and eat meals together. However, everyone, don't you wonder why no one in Japan raised their voice for such a long time? There is a reason for this. In Japan, there were people who fought using primary sources. One of them is the genuine journalist Masanori Mizuma. But it was the Japanese media, lying journalists, deceitful educators, and politicians who crushed this effort. Why? This is something many Japanese people are unaware of. I won't say it now. It's too shocking a truth. First, we will raise our voices against the lies of the wartime period. Not with propaganda, but with primary sources. We will not forgive the adults who made our ancestors villains and spread lies around the world. The truth revealed in the book we introduced today, easily understandable, the GHQ's plan to brainwash the Japanese, is a book we have requested the Ministry of Education to include in textbooks since we were junior high school students. Many Japanese do not know what happened in Japan after the war. You can understand by reading this book. However, we gave up after a weekly magazine article claimed that North Korean spies had infiltrated the Ministry of Education. Japan does not have a law to prevent espionage. Why is that? Imagine. The Ministry of Education denied the presence of spies on its website, but among the officials, there was someone who had studied in North Korea. More than 800 people have been abducted by North Korea, yet the government is not seriously trying to retrieve them. A person who studied in such a country is part of the Ministry of Education. We don't need textbooks made by such people. Russian President Putin said that Japanese children are not being taught the truth. That's true, but now we can learn for ourselves. Learn about what the GHQ did to Japan after the war. We are not activists. So, even without backing, students have spent time translating this as the first part. In America, it is cruel adults who justify the atomic bombings. More people around the world are beginning to understand what kind of person Emperor Showa was as recorded in MacArthur's autobiography. Many in Asia showed more respect and condolence at the passing of Emperor Showa than Japan did. Japan has become a strange country after the war. We will not forgive the current politicians. However, everyone, please do not speak ill of Americans. Among our comrades, there are students who raised their voices against the atomic bombings in America. The teachers apologized, and friends said they didn't know and apologized. Japanese people are not like a certain ethnicity who demand apologies and money for 30 years even after the lies are exposed. Look at the faces of those who justify this cruelty. In Japan, there's a saying that liars are the beginning of thieves, and thieves become murderers. Even after 100 years, adults who only care about the present, money, and themselves are tiresome. They should know shame. Many Americans, individually, love justice. It is a crime to teach lies in school, and I feel sorry for the Americans. No matter how many lies are taught, a lie is a lie. Some people individually purchase wartime relics at auction and donate them. We are very grateful. However, it is hardly reported in Japan. That's because the media is corrupt. Japan is currently ranked 70th in the World Press Freedom Index in 2024. The responsibility lies with the politicians. Teaching lies in school is a crime, and I feel sorry for the Americans. No matter how many lies are taught, a lie is a lie. The movie, Grave of the Fireflies, made people around the world cry. That is a true story. And such things happened everywhere in Japan. From Hokkaido to Okinawa, even Kyoto was bombed. If you have a problem with us, show us primary source material that outweighs ours. We have had enough of the lies, propaganda, use of celebrity, and deception. As we have said many times, a liar is a thief and a thief is a murderer. This is the book the world needs to know what GHQ did to Japan.